Hello, my name's Jessica. I'm a fully qualified maths teacher, and today's topic we're going to look at is called fractions. So we're going to look firstly at adding fractions, and then I will do a separate video on subtraction, multiplying and dividing, and then further videos on mixed numbers. Okay, so fractions is a topic that most kids struggle with at school, so hopefully this can help you to understand. Personally, I think that adding and subtraction causes the most difficulty, and multiplying, there doesn't seem to be as many problems around multiplying fractions, and dividing is kind of in a league of its own because there's like wee rhymes and mnemonics we can use to help us. Okay, so let's dive straight into an example. So I've got some questions here. So here is the first one we're going to look at. So this one's lovely, 5 over 8 plus 2 over 8, okay? So if you're in your exam and you get one that has a common base already, then that is half the battle, it's your lucky day. That means they already have a common base, so we don't need to do anything more to those. So when they have a common base, we can just say 5 plus 2 is 7 all over the common base of 8. Okay, now it's so important that you don't get tripped up and confused and add the denominators. Okay, so in a fraction, if I wrote a over b, this is the numerator. Okay, so that's our numerator, and this is the denominator. Okay, so we have our numerator, so number 1 on top, you can remember it like that, and d for denominator, d for down, it's the one on the bottom. Okay, so n for number 1, n for numerator, it's the one on the top, and d for denominator, d for down, it's the one on the bottom. Okay, so those are some nice fancy words we can use now to describe these fractions. We've been asked to add them. They have a common denominator, therefore we don't need to do anything, okay? Which allows us to come to the conclusion that how you do adding fractions is you must have a common denominator. Okay, so I think you're a smart bunch, so you probably understand that one fine. Let's move on to a trickier one. Okay, just over there at the side. So say we have 1/5 plus a third. Okay, so we've been asked to add these fractions. So you can see that we have got different denominators this time. Okay, when we're adding fractions, we want the denominators to be the same. They need a common denominator. Okay. I like to personally do it as one big fraction, so all over one number. What I find happens is when kids put them as two different fractions, they end up adding the denominators, okay? And we don't want that, so I think this way is the best. So we need a number that both 5 and 3 evenly divide into. Okay, so I'm going to explain this one. So we'll go for 15 because 5 goes into 15 3 times and 3 goes into 15 5 times. You could also have went for 30 because 5 times 6 is 30 and 3 times 10 is 30. Okay, 30 would have worked as well, and there are many others. So this number 15, we're technically looking for like a common factor of them both. A common multiple of them both. So a number they both divide evenly into. So we'll say 5 goes into 15 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 times 1 is 5. So 5 and 3 is 8 over 15. Okay, let's do another one. Best way to learn maths is through doing. 1/4 plus 2/3. Again, we need to find a common denominator. So we want a number that both 4 and 3 divide evenly into. So I'm going to go with 12, okay? There are probably others like 36, 4 9s and 3 12s, but I just am going with 12 because it's smaller and it's just easier. So then we say 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. So it's 11 over 12. Okay, let's do another one. So this time we'll do 2 over 5 plus 3 over 10. Okay, again, we need a common denominator. The obvious one here, you could go for 50. There is nothing wrong with going for 50. You just have to apply the same method, but you can do 50. I'm going to go for 10 because 5 2s are 10 and 10 1s are 10. So they both divide evenly into 10. So then we say 5 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 10 goes into 10 once. 1 times 3 is 3. So it's 7 over 10. You can also look at it as we're kind of doing equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions is when they are the same. So for example, 2 over 5 is the same as, so this little symbol here denotes the same as 4 over 10. Do you see how I times the denominator by 2 and I times the numerator by 2, which means that 2/5 and 4/10 are the same fraction, okay? They are equivalent fractions, okay? Happy with that? And that's essentially what we're doing here. Do you see? Here's my 2/5, here's my 4/10. I'm bringing it up so that it has the same denominator, okay? Let's do another one. So let's say we had 3 over 4 plus 5 over 6. Okay, so there are a few options you can go with. So let's say we can say you could go with 24 because they both divide into 24. I'm going to go with 12 because it's just a nicer number. You can go with 24. There's probably others you can go with, but I'm going to go with 12 for this one. You will always get the exact same answer, okay? So same thing again. I'll get a different color just to show it again. So we say 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 3s are 9 plus 6 goes into 12 twice. 5 2s are 10. So that gives me 19 over 12. Okay, and that's what we call a top-heavy fraction, okay? So we will be looking at top-heavy and proper mixed numbers in a different video, but that's top-heavy, okay? I wonder will I do one more? Yes, I probably should. So let's do this one. So we will do 1/6 plus 3/8. Okay, again, they have a different denominator, therefore we need to find a common denominator, okay? So we're going to put them all over one number. So let's see, 6 and 8, what number could we use? We can't do 16 because 6 doesn't go into 16. We could do, does they both go into 24? Yes, they do. Or you could just multiply 6 times 8. So 6 8s are 48. You could put them all over 48. But I'm going to go with 24 just because it's smaller. Okay, but it doesn't matter. They'll all give the same answer. So 24. So 6 goes into 24 4 times. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 8 goes into 24 3 times. 3 3s are 9. Okay, so 9 plus 4 is 13 over 24. Okay, happy? So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit better how to add fractions. So the bottom line of adding fractions is that you need a common base, okay? So we need a common denominator. We need a number, so for example in this one it's the 24. We need a number that both of the denominators of the two fractions evenly divide into, okay? It is not a factor. So for example, in this one on the screen, we couldn't go with 3 or 2. We couldn't go with 2 because how many times do you multiply 6 by a number to get 2? Okay, it wouldn't be right. So it has to be a multiple of both of the numbers. So a number that you multiply to get your times tables, those are your multiples. Multiples are the answers to your times tables, okay? So hopefully this helps. Remember, common denominator, a number they both divide into, so therefore it will be a multiple of both numbers. And then you just add your top line at the end. So hopefully that makes sense and hopefully you can now understand adding fractions. Thank you and take care and all the best.